Yes.
Thank you all very much for coming to this talk, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to do quite a culture talk today. I just joined the organization, as had most of us in our group. We're a group of 6 people. We were all hired in a rush to set up a new RSE group. The deadline for this conference came up, and I thought, well, let's put something in about the experience we have between the deadline and the moment in which we're all sharing right now. My colleague Matt Brown set in motion this who I am when I'm not working approach to introducing ourselves. As you can see, we have a varied mix of interests. Unfortunately, Robin Long is on holiday, and all we know about him is that he likes to lead a particularly challenging group of scouts. But probably some of you in this audience know more about Robin than we do. Most of us weren't part of this culture before starting to form this group or before joining the organization. So the rest of this quick walk through most of the collaboration and team building stuff that we've tried to put in place is a way of asking questions to everyone here. Can we learn from your mistakes and accelerate the process of building a healthy and pragmatic RSE group? So we're all based at the UK Centre for Ecology and Hydrology, or UKCH. I had to spell that out on my badge because the people I talked to were like, I don't know that acronym. But in fact, CEH was part of the network of NERC data centres, of which BAS and BGS are still parts, but CEH became independent a few years ago. So it's a charitable body working across a big range of different science areas, doing a lot of long-term environmental monitoring, environmental modeling, a really interesting spread of environmental science. And it's based across 4 different sites. Myself and Joe over there, we've come from Edinburgh. Matt's come up from Wallingford. Other Matt somewhere. But I kind of, you lot know all this. You should be in other talks, learning about things you haven't already seen. Has come from Lancaster. So Lancaster is where CEH is co-located in the university there. So there's quite a deep and long-standing partnership with environmental work in Lancaster. And this is our overview of why we're here, not here at RSECon, but why we're within CEH as a group, to do hopefully the things that everyone in this room, in this wider building is setting out to do, to establish better software engineering practice, to lend our experiences to projects that are evolving, to work on digital research infrastructure that is underlying a lot of different research areas, scientific efforts, and critically to build reusable components so that we have this sort of central view across research areas, and we can look at where problems that look really different to specialists appear to be infrastructurally very similar. And what we're aiming for as a group, so we're differently structured from, I think, how a lot of university central RSE groups are. So there are still RSEs working in or being brought into specific projects and specific domains. Our small group is embedded in the environmental data science team within CEH, and we're trying to posit ourselves as we're not a pool of resources. It makes you sound like a fish or a secretary. So we're more of an advisory service. And in this capacity, I hope that we won't spend a lot of time putting our own practices into place, but that we'll be able to pick up and propagate practices that are already there in the organization. And one nice example is a template project for setting up new Python repositories put in place by infrastructure DevOps teams. We persuaded them to release that openly on GitHub with the impetus of being able to share it with researchers. How am I for time? Okay. I'm rattling through. So it's a mixture of small engagements across the organization, but also contributing to these larger scale projects that are being funded by UKRI. FDRI is one of them, an acronym that we hear around a lot. Floods and Droughts Resilience, National Capability, which is the long-term monitoring, lots of sensor networks, lots of data sharing, lots of open data. So we've got, within our capacity as a small group, we're contributing to these things too. I've covered most of this. So the area of the organization that we're in is environmental data science. So it's not part of the IT group, it's not part of the support function, it's more digital specialists doing environmental work. And there's a wide mix of backgrounds and interests within that group. A really nice kind of social science-oriented design team. They're doing a lot of work on environmental impacts of technology, of different kinds of sustainability. So there's a lot of support to draw on in terms of interests and skills immediately around us across the environmental data science group. It's got a very flat team structure. We've got a very flat team structure. CEH is a very distributed and open consensus organization. And in that kind of setting, it can be hard to make decisions. We don't have a dedicated team lead, but one thing you can do is try to be very, very conscious about communications norms and try to maintain those conversations in as transparent and I suppose inclusive, as engaging a way as possible. So here's where we're setting about the culture building steps for our first 100 days. It's taken a while to draft a team agreement, which is kind of a code of conduct, kind of a team charter. It's a bit about our values, our ethos. I suppose it's a team-level version of the mission statement for RSE Con. I think it's definitely got "be kind" in there. That was Matt Cool's suggestion. Reaching out beyond trying to build good communications norms and daily interaction amongst ourselves, to reach out to our immediate collaborators, to networks of people in similar organizations, particularly folks like BAS, BGS, and anyone else who's in this setting, who's not traditionally academic, but is more in that kind of public sector but research-heavy organization. We particularly want to learn about the struggles that you're dealing with and meet people in your RSE groups, and then trying to work outwards towards local communities. In Edinburgh, there's a quite university-dominated but reasonably flourishing group called CERSI. There's a collaboration with environmental data scientists in the university in Lancaster and so on. So as a pretty small group with limited resources, try and embed ourselves in that wider culture. I suppose so. One core part of what should make our mission different from individual RSEs working on individual projects, is the drive towards outreach and skills development. And are we focusing on it? No, not really. Or it's very incremental at this point, and it's something that is hard to psychologically block out your own time to do. 10 minutes. Oh, wow, I've got ages left. Thank you. So and again, this sort of thing. It starts where you are. That kind of outreach and collaboration practice. It starts within your team. It starts with the people sitting next to you. One practice that I'm a big advocate of, that originally our research group at BGS started developing, and that I've used a lot since, is mob programming. The concept of all the great people on the same computer at the same time, in small group sessions, lots of knowledge sharing, and lots of quite casual social communication while you're coding. I could give several talks right now about the benefits of mob programming. I won't do that, but it's also a very nice way of being able to work with researchers. So I've had some lovely sessions Oh, I'm that close, am I? Oh dear. Right, sorry, the last one said 10 minutes remaining.
No, one.
It definitely says 10 minutes remaining. Okay, can I have a discretionary 90 seconds?
Oh, okay.
No, that's quite okay. So, all right, I'll try and rattle through the rest of this as quickly as I possibly can. So apart from this, yeah, that's all right. The key points. We've reached out to SSI about setting up a workshop program for the carpentries. They want to be able to change the model where they're not coming in, they're doing free workshops, but we're giving them project budget, or we're working that into funding allocations. We want to put our own teaching and outreach time into funding allocations. How do we do that? We try and set up software clinics following the model that BGS does of running casual post-lunch sessions. We move a lot of our process to GitHub. We've got great GitHub discussions. Come and search for our RSE Group repository. I try to leave a lot of brain dump notes there, and that's been a nice forum for reaching out to people in other groups. We do a lot of text first, then chat meetings, which are nice. They're successful. I started trying to write week notes, and now I've stopped. We'd like to read people's handbooks. We keep hearing about, we've got these great handbooks and playbooks, but they all have a bit of a foot in internal process. Where can we read your handbooks? We're not looking for one kind of Turing issue, this is how you do RSE Group, but I'd like to be able to see more different internal playbooks. Okay, I can't get too philosophical, and that's fine. Well, I'll paste a link in the Fediverse to all these wonderful slides that I was going to talk over. This is the last bit that I really wanted to emphasize. This has been a huge struggle for us. We don't have a consistent development environment amongst our team. We're not IT programmers, so we don't have admin access. It's a tremendous productivity blocker. I see someone nodding fervently there. I haven't come here just to vent about this, but I've come to find out about what organizations that have to do Cyber Essentials Plus can do to give every kind of research coder a local environment where they are free to install scientific software. It can be done within the letter and the spirit of the regulations, and we've seen that done. We know it probably won't be listened to coming from us. What do we do at a policy level? Thank you very much. Sorry about the time. Most of us are here. That's myself, Matt and Joe, and other Matts. Alba, I think, is here remotely. Robin is probably on leave. Come and talk to any of us. We're here now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.